Good morning, Year 12. I just have a very quick update for you guys, and I thought I'd put it all together in a YouTube video because of the Screencaster 5-minute restriction. This would help us. If you're not in Year 12, you might be watching this because I have set some similar things for Year 11 and even some of my Year 13s. I want to give you a basic rundown because as I've started to go through a number of your mock-ups, I've seen that maybe some of you don't really know what you're doing. Maybe you don't really know what a mock-up is meant to look like. I'm working on one screen here, so bear with me. Let's flick over to some of our stuff and get rid of my casting software right there. So in your mock-ups right there, I have Googled landing page mock-up. And right there, you should see that there is a trend happening in these mock-ups. So if I look at this, let's say I look at this one. What would be another good example? Maybe something like this. Oh, this is nice. What's this? Some little instructional video. Right, some of you guys, that reminds me of Ash's design with the angles. Actually, that's a great way for you, Ash, to deal with your angles and still keep them. So look at this website mock-up. Super basic, but super clean, right? You could clearly see the definitions in the page. You could clearly see that at the top, there's a nav bar, then there's some type of hero slider, then there's something else. They've put a little form there with something else. There's another bit of data. There's another bit with some other little cards in there, and then a footer down the bottom. This is what is missing out of a lot of your websites. Firstly, the main problem that I see is most of you have only designed this. You've only designed what a page would look like if you don't scroll. Have you ever found a page in 2020? I challenge you to find the page that doesn't scroll. You might find some, right? And for artistic purposes, they might be good, but there might be some spectrum that they might be good in a very niche market, or they probably are pretty horrible. Most of you have just designed that. That's not a web page. You need to design this. When you scroll down, what are you going to see, right? When you are doing your nav bar, make it clear. One of the first things that I notice, and I'm going to say this often, one of the first things that you notice about a lot of this is white space. And I'm writing here on my iPad so that you guys could see. Boom, let's flick over to this other view so you guys can see the iPad right there. Good. One of the things is white space. And you'll notice that there they have the website, they have the thing, they have a banner. But then they have white space. Look, they might have some content, but they have white space in here. This is white. Then they have some other color in the background, and then they have white space again. Now, I'm not saying that this is the perfect design, right? But I'm saying that when you look at lots of websites, and you guys have analyzed a lot of websites, it seems that you just haven't carried a lot of that analysis into your own designs. When I click on something here again, white space. Look at all the white space in the mobile design. Look at the white space at the top. Look at the white space here. The white on the color of your thing. Look at the font. A lot of your typefaces. You really need to just focus on your typeface. They've focused on going full screen and having this navigation bar kind of floating there. That's a very cool, very modern design. You don't have to do that. You need to obviously have a white logo in order to do that, and you're limited because you're limited to white text, and you have to have dark colors behind it. But that's another way to do it. Now, you'll notice that this is for Ash and for other people here that are trying to do cool things like breaking the grid. You'll notice that all of this cool design, that's the best drawing I could do right now, all this cool design is breaking the grid, but in reality, it's not breaking the grid. Because in reality, that image would look like that. And they would have put in that into the background, and it looks like it's breaking the grid, but it's not. You'll see that when we get to the other one with the angles in there. If I scroll down here, let's see what else we got. What's this guy here? Okay, here we go again. Very common, where you have a full color background for the beginning. Look at this one, full color background for the beginning. Full color background. Are you noticing a trend here? Full color background, or a photo or something like that for the beginning. They have some kind of introductory text. I ripped someone and said, don't say welcome to NZ Breakers. And then they write it here, welcome to. They don't welcome people at the beginning of your website, unless, it's a very specific application where you welcome people. Look at what they've done here. They've taken a navigation that's not floating, and they've made it a bit more like that, and that's nicer. But you could clearly see the white space, floating designs, right? Real nice. You don't have to over clutter your design. I think I'm done with. Look at that. What color and white space? Color and white space. Use white space. Some of you are freaking out. Look, we are a creative web studio. Full color background and then white space. Then they contrast that with a bit of a darker background. Why? So you could clearly see the different components to your website. Some of you are really struggling with that. Look at also what's happening here. That even in this design, you can clearly see, remember the principles of design, there is an alignment and there's something that says this is a section here, this is a section here, and as a matter of fact, there's another little section that goes across the top here, right? And that's how they're designing it. That's how in the different sections you can do that. If I click on this guy, do I need to say it again? Color background, white space. Color background, white space. Nice grid for your project. If you're going to have images, and actually let's do that now. We flick over to the NZ Breakers website. I'm going to flick channels here and I'm going to take that white space thing off. And I go over to NZ Breakers. I had it open somewhere. NZ Breakers, look at what they've done. Again, I would not say that this is a fantastic website design, probably why we're redesigning it. But there is some elements there of web design, right? For example, let's have a look at this right down here. Here you have 4 different big buttons. And in these big buttons, they're all exactly the same size, which is very important. Creates a grid, creates alignment. They're exactly the same size. The buttons are the same size. This is bad design here. This typeface is smaller than this because they couldn't fit it in. Well, you have to choose a typeface that fits your biggest text and then work from there so you have some consistency. But you'll notice that all the type here is the same. It says to me, this is the same thing, right? Consistency across your design builds groups. I do like how they break the grid here. That's kind of cool. I do like how they break the grid here of this line that goes down here like this. That's cool, right? That's a cool design choice. Look again, they group it in cards. Right? Some of you have tried to do this in your design somewhat unsuccessfully, right? You don't have to redesign the wheel. Like cards are a very normal concept in web design, where you come down here and you have this little card that's built with an image at the top, maybe a little date, especially if you've got anything that says latest. If you have anything that says latest, I need to be able to find the latest stuff first. Right? And how late is latest? It has the date in there. It has a heading. It might have a time of the duration of the video, and it might have a link to something else, some share link or something like, yeah, that's what that is, a share link to Twitter, Facebook. Again, I know that's a share link because that is a consistent icon, right? And if you want more, view more. Now, you guys are creating a Photoshop design. All you have to write is text in there that says view more. Nothing actually has to be clickable. To know that this is a video, you just have to put a little play button in there. That's nice. Here, latest news. Look what they have. Latest news. And they have things in bigger cards. Now, they have two different types of cards in here, which again is very common in any type of news website or promoting news. Why? Because you usually have different types of cards for like different levels of news. If you really want to emphasize something, you are going to give it a large full image card. You'll notice that this has got some little gradient that goes here to make this part of the image darker so that you could add white text on there. Right? I'm just ripping it apart here so you could see with the design choices that they've made. You could see the gradient here also. And up here, full color, nice images. These cards, the secondary cards, look at them. Same image size. Doesn't matter what image you bring in. The image size is the same. The heading is the same. Then the little thing. It's just nice, right? Like there's not a lot that's nice about this website, but that's just nice. I come here. They have this horrendous. I hate side navigation on the side like this. I wonder, like, the wider you go, the smaller you go. Okay, there you go. The smaller you go, it flips to mobile at the top. And the navigation. Wow, that's it. You click on that. Okay. Okay, and this is one thing that you guys really... Okay, before I even get to there, let me get an MBA. All right, not another, but a bit better. Okay, look at what they've done here. Again, this is for you. Ash and others that want to do this other cool design. I'm not against this. By the way, it's actually really cool, right? Really modern. But you have to understand that all of it is inside of a grid. As a matter of fact, you might think that's the grid. No, that's not the grid. Because look at the video. It hangs out. I kind of like it because it's a preview. You're not going to watch the whole video like that. But the grid is actually there. And it works. It has little things, little icons to tell you of other videos and other stuff like that. That's cool. Latest headlines. Look at this. There's another box here, right? Even though all of this stuff is floating, it's still in line because you understand here is one section, right? And that's why if you have floating stuff and you have a white background, it doesn't matter how wide or how big you go, because it just floats in white space. A lot of white space. Did I mention white space? A lot of white space. Look at this. Here's another section for features. Again, they have a different format here, but they say these are my little cards right here. Look at these little cards right here. These are my feature cards. Here are my memories cards or little video cards, right? They have less information. They have a little video preview and the name that's clickable, right? And you click on it and you're going to expect that that's going to take you somewhere. An arrow that takes you like a carousel to more things. Cool, right? NBA TV, look, they've added a PNG in here to kind of break the grid. But again, because there's a lot of white space, you could see like this is where the news is. The news function. Different types of cards here for your feature function. And then look, here there's a consistency. 1, 2, 3. That's cool. Editor's picks. Here we go. Okay, there are a lot of stuff. And follow favorite teams down the bottom. They've got all these little scrolly things like this. And that is kind of cool. If you have a lot of information, then scroll horizontally like that. Don't make the user scroll, obviously. And then their footer. That's the NBA website. Again, not incredible. Not incredible, but good. Now, this is one thing I did want to mention, and I stopped myself before. Look at these cards. What happens to them as the website gets smaller? As the website gets smaller, a lot of you, what you've done for your mobile websites is you've taken your website and just squished it into a disgustingly small format, and that's it. Look at what a mobile website does. Firstly, the images start to get smaller to try and fit in as much as you can. But as soon as you can't fit it in, at some point, bang. Look at that. At some point, it clicks across and the cards get big again, right? You might have a feature card or the top card and then other ones in between, right? Let's look at what happens now if you keep getting smaller, like to a phone. Okay, so what they have is they have their main feature and then cards in between, right? That's actually not a great responsive. Look at that mess right there. Ooh, NBA. Look at what they've done here. This was here, and then the 3 were on the side, but now they've come underneath. 1, 2, 3, right? If I do the same with the NZ Breakers site, look at their little cards. You notice that there's just less of the image. It's not the whole image, but it just shows less of the image until at some point it flips across. And when I click to news, look at how the news is displayed. Similar to what was before. One feature and then a small little separately designed card for these little things. Other little cards. Bang, 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 bang. One under the other so you could scroll. Don't worry about scrolling. People scroll. It's okay. And a nice little hamburger menu here to do their things. Players. How do they do their plays? Again, nice. They have this little feature here. It's embarrassing when you're a professional player and you haven't got a photo. But there you are there in these little features right there. And now let me bring this back. This is your project, blind and low vision. I don't know if I could say this online, but what a horrendous website. I could see now where most of you have got this idea from. Disgusting. Get rid of that altogether. Search bars, big donate now buttons, horrendous up there. But do you notice anything, gents? A lot of white space. A lot of white space. Now they have these cards here again. Look at these cards that are here for the different news, the different things there, right? Quick links is in a little orange box to differentiate it. All right. And again, bigger cards for bigger, but there's consistency, gents. I could see that this is, even in this bad design, I could see that that's one section of the website. There's another section of the website. I hate these big buttons here. Here's another section of the website. I think this is meant to be a banner. A banner with the image is meant to be all over here, and they haven't done that. That's very poor. That's why we're redoing this site for. What else did I want to show you? Okay, I wanted to show you this again for Ash and other guys that are doing angles. Look at how they've done angles, but they have kept it still within a grid, right? You could still do cool things, but keep it within a grid. If I open that one, you can buy it. Great. You could keep it within a grid, right? Imagine this was your banner at the top. Here is your nav. And you've managed to keep angles, but still within a grid. From there, I could scroll down and do a white block with some info. Under that, I'd do another block, maybe with this background or gradient background as they have here, right? Again, cool stuff like this, but still within a grid. I could do another block down here that has info and another block down here. So really think about your website in terms of breaking it up into sections, and being able to do that. And use white space. Use white space. This website here, there is no white space. It's full color, right? But if I was doing this website and then I was scrolling down in the website, let's see, you can view it here. Let's give it a crack. Yeah, thanks, man. This is just a landing page concept. Sorry. But if I was going to scroll down from here, then the next thing here would be some info with white space and then another block under that with some other color. I love these contrasting colors that they have here, by the way. But that's another subject. Cool. White space. Did I mention white space? Yeah, I mentioned white space. Quite a bit of white space. Use white space. Let me just go down here. I'm going to send you a link to this website. It's probably a bit too much. It is too much for website mock-ups and things like that. Some of you guys, I don't know how you're creating your websites, but you could do lots of different things. You can use Illustrator. You can use Photoshop. I found this guy here that I scrubbed through the video. So I'm not really vouching for the video, but I will put it on. That he builds this whole thing from scratch. And again, look what he does. He builds a color background with some text, and then he builds some cards in there and then adds them as a clipping mask to add his images as the right size there. And starts to build that out from there. Adds another section with the same background color as he did at the top. Right? And then starts to build a section. Your websites, they will start to build consistency once you start to use color and alignment and all those kinds of things. I'm not saying that because, especially for year 12s, that your website is a disaster. Not even that it's bad, but it just needs to be tweaked in little ways to bring this together. Let me say at the end of this video right here that these guys, NZIQ, the guys that I've been working with, we put together those booklets that you've been using for the NZ breakers and all those other kinds of things. So with those booklets, with these booklets here, these are the guys that ran the Adobe certification. Now, if you've watched this far, this is your prize. They've run the Adobe certification for here in New Zealand. Part of that was the story that I told you that they also run an Adobe competition. And in the Adobe competition, let me actually try and give it a Google. Adobe Competition International Design Achievement Awards Associate World Championship. Here it is. Adobe Certified Associate World Championship. Boom. This year it is in Anaheim, California, August 2nd to August 5th. There needs to be a New Zealand representative that goes there. Now, they emailed me and said, Chris, we haven't received many entries yet, and I know that your guys can do this and you would smash this. Could you compete in the New Zealand division? All you have to do, Chris, listen carefully, gents. All you have to do is provide a design for either our Blind Vision, Breakers, or LPL websites. All you have to do is provide a final mock-up for that. No write-up, no nothing. All they want is the Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator files. All you have to do is send that through. I'll help you with the Adobe Photoshop files and we'll clean them up, rename the layers, make them look really nice like we know what we're doing. And because they want the Photoshop files, and when we send them through, then you'll go into the competition. Now listen very carefully. They said to me that in the competition, if you win, you get an all expenses paid to be New Zealand's representative at the World Championship in California on August 2nd to August 5th. That was the plan. They said if that doesn't eventuate and for whatever reason borders still aren't open and we can't fly, first prize will get 1,500 New Zealand dollars, 1,000 New Zealand dollars for the second prize and 500 New Zealand dollars for the third prize. That sounds pretty good to me for an assessment that you've already done. So if you watch this video that far, that's your prize. The deadline for that, gents, is the 25th of May. That gives us 20 days from tomorrow. The 25th of May for an assessment that you should have already been doing anyways. But that will be an awesome opportunity for some of you out there. All right. That's all I'm going to say for this video. I'm going to flick back here. Did I mention white space? Yeah. White space, right? Add white space in there. Well done. And that's all I'm going to say for today. I'll talk to you guys soon. I'll put up an update for the specs table and all those little things, but then we'll go from there. Thanks, gents. Talk soon.